They judged the mother at school, but in the end, she revealed something that changed everything. She walked into that school carrying a simple tote bag and her head down. She didn't wear heels, she didn't have on makeup, and because of that, she was judged, ridiculed, ignored. But what no one there knew was that this woman was a federal judge. And on that day, she wasn't just there as a mother, she was there to silence every single person who mocked her son. What she did in the following minutes stopped the entire school, and it changed lives. You are about to discover the real story that the educational system doesn't want you to see.
If you love emotional stories, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button. Here, we always have emotional stories that touch your heart. Now, shall we hear today's emotional story?
Agitated morning on the outskirts. Simple houses, traffic noise, the smell of bread coming out of the oven. A woman puts on her apron, kisses her son, and runs out with a worn backpack. Lucia, 42 years old, brown skin, hair tied back, dressed with simplicity and dignity. Firm voice, tired eyes, but full of love. She works hard, takes care of her son with total dedication. Dona Lucia was like many Brazilian women. Simple solutions for difficult problems. Strong on the inside, even when the world tried to break her on the outside. Every day, she took her 10-year-old son Pedro to the neighborhood's private school, a gift she fought hard to give him. Pedro won a scholarship, the only thing that connected him to that place of luxury and prejudice. But that morning, she didn't know it would be the beginning of a public nightmare and a silent revenge. Lucia arrives at the school, dressed in simple but clean clothes. She's in a hurry because she needs to go straight to work. As she enters the courtyard, 3 mothers are talking. They look at her up and down. Rich Mother 1, in an ironic tone, "Well, look at that. Does the school now accept nannies for parent-teacher meetings?" Rich Mother 2, laughing, "She's wearing the same clothes as last week. Does she work here or just live in the trash?" Rich Mother 3, whispering loudly, "Poor kid. He must be so embarrassed." They didn't know who she was, but Lucia felt every word like a knife. She lowered her head, not out of shame, but out of respect. Respect for not acting like them. Pedro looks at his mother, realizes the situation, and tries to pull her away. But Lucia just smiles with tears in her eyes. "Lucia," low voice, "let's go, son. Our worth isn't in our clothes. It's in what we carry inside." The tension increases. Lucia returns to the school. The mothers continue to mock her. She pretends she doesn't hear, but Pedro starts to feel embarrassed. Pedro, sad, "Mom, why don't you dress like the other mothers?" Lucia, emotional, "Because we don't have to look rich to be worthy, my love. One day, you'll understand." The rich mothers are gathered at the school. They comment among themselves that their husbands are being investigated for corruption. They are tense but laughing. They think nothing will come of it. Rich Mother 1, "The lawyer said the judge on the case is new, inexperienced. It'll be easy." Rich Mother 2, "Good thing. My husband won't spend a single night in jail." Rich Mother 3, "What if the janitor from the school was the judge? Just imagine." They all laugh loudly. Tension and hidden clues. What they didn't know is that the simple woman who carried a styrofoam lunchbox and wore old sneakers was more than she seemed. Much more. Subtle clues. Lucia at home, at night. She takes off her apron. She goes to a back room, a small library. Law books. Certificates. A judge's robe hanging up. She sighs deeply. She turns on a soft light. Lucia, whispering, "Tomorrow is the start of the hearing. They will see me with different eyes." Lucia was not an employee, nor a janitor. nor a secretary. She was the federal judge who would take on the city's most talked-about corruption case. The case of the husbands of those same women who laughed at her clothes, who called her a poor nobody, who taught their children to despise those who are different. The turnaround begins. Courthouse. The mothers are sitting in the back row, nervous, overdressed. Suddenly, the door opens. In walks Dr. Lucia Regina, black robe, firm gaze. The mother's eyes widen. Rich Mother 2. Startled. No, it can't be. Rich Mother 1. Almost out of breath. It's her, the woman from the school. They judged her by her appearance. But now, the judgment was in her hands. And the question everyone wanted to know was, would she deliver justice, or would she let the pain speak louder?
The crisis and the moral challenges. The courtroom. Lucia sits in the judge's chair. The silence is absolute. The gavel bangs. Lucia firmly. Good afternoon. The session for case 3097 regarding the corruption investigation involving the defendants has begun. In the audience, the husbands of the women who laughed at Lucia were there. Tense faces, expensive ties, but lost eyes. And beside them, the wives, the very same ones who days ago mocked the woman who now decided their future. Moral tension, power in her hands. Lucia could, with a simple ruling, change all of their destinies. But justice is not made with hatred. It's made with principles. Flashback. Lucia's childhood. Her mother being unjustly fired. The hunger. The looks of contempt. The torn notebook because there was no money to pay the school fee. Every phrase she heard in that school brought back the echo of the past. The voice of prejudice. The same one that pushed her to the ground so many times. But there, in front of power, she couldn't be the same. The difficult choice. One of the defendants, the husband of Rich Mother 1, stands to speak. He tries to play the role of the repentant one. Defendant 1, cynical. Your Honor, we know you are a woman of honor. I hope you can judge with impartiality, even in the face of past mistakes. Rich Mother 1, whispering. Tell her we apologized. But apologies don't erase scars. True repentance doesn't always come from the heart. Sometimes it comes from fear. Personal challenge. Pedro suffers at school. Pedro at school. One of the rich mother's sons starts to taunt him. Rich son, your mom's a judge, right? Is she gonna arrest my dad? Do you think that's cool? Pedro stays silent. His eyes welled up with tears. Lucia at home with Pedro at night. Pedro, confused. Mom, why didn't you just send them to jail? They were mean to us. Lucia, serene. Because those with power, son, need even more wisdom. True justice isn't revenge. Emotional peak. Unexpected witness. Emotional peak. Unexpected witness. Back in the courtroom, a new witness enters. The secretary from one of the defendant's companies. She's a simple woman, like Lucia, trembling with fear. But when she looks at the judge, she takes a deep breath. Secretary, emotional. I saw everything. They embezzled millions and threatened to fire me if I told. It was the chance for the truth to come out, for another invisible woman to be heard. The rich mothers try to interrupt the testimony. They scream. They say the woman is lying. Rich Mother 2, desperate. You are destroying families with this. Lucia, firm, deep voice. Families are destroyed when there is corruption, lies, and contempt for others. Public revelation. A journalist is in the courtroom. He records a part of Lucia's speech and posts it online. The video goes viral. thousands watch. Humble mothers, janitors, teachers, all moved by the judge's stance. On social media, a headline echoes: Judge humiliated by rich mothers gives a lesson in justice while judging their husbands. Internal dilemma, the pain of choice. Lucia alone in her chambers. She looks at an old photo of her with young Pedro. The case file is in her hands. She could issue the sentence, send them all to jail. But inside her, doubt screamed. Was punishment really what was needed? Last day of the trial. The room is packed. Everyone stands. Absolute silence. Lucia, looking into the mother's eyes. The world judges by appearances, and that hurts. But today, the one you judged is the one judging you. She's about to deliver the sentence. But what she decided, you will find out in the next block. Question for the audience. If you were in Dr. Lucia's place, would you act with justice, or would you let the pain decide for you? Thank you. Thank you for staying with us this far. If this story has already touched you, get ready because the best is yet to come. The sentence, the twist, and the ending that will give you goosebumps.
Final act, judgment, revelation, and justice. A packed courtroom, everyone on their feet. The sound of the gavel bangs. Lucia, firm yet serene voice. After analyzing the evidence, testimonies, and listening to all involved parties, this court declares the defendants. The world stopped for a second. The rich mothers held their breath. Pedro, watching from the back of the room, clenched his hands as if asking for justice. The judgment. Lucia, guilty of the crimes of misuse of public funds, active corruption, and money laundering. Shouts from the audience. The defendants lower their heads, the wives panic. Rich mother 1, crying, "You ruined our lives." Lucia, looking into her eyes. It wasn't me, it was arrogance, the lack of empathy, the inability to see others as equals. Deep emotion, justice done with dignity. Press cameras capture the moment. Headlines spread. Humble judge gives a life lesson and convicts corrupt elite. The entire city now knew who Dr. Lucia Regina was. The simple woman, the dedicated mother, the judge who faced prejudice and won with dignity and wisdom. The school reacts. At the school, the principal calls Pedro to the classroom. Beside her are the same students who mocked him. Principal, regretful. "Pedro, we want to apologize. You and your mother are a source of pride for our school. We would like to offer you a full scholarship until the end of high school. And we want your mother to come and tell her story during Citizenship Week." Pedro, emotional. "Thank you, but my mother has already told this story." In the courtroom. The truth behind Lucia's life. Lucia at home. She receives a phone call. A man on the other end of the line. Voice on the phone. "Dr. Lucia, your name has been put forward to take a position on the Supreme Federal Court. Our country needs people like you." Lucia, emotional. I just wanted to do what was right, nothing more." Emotional outcome, the lesson. Lucia didn't take revenge, she educated. She showed the world that what defines a person isn't their clothes, their car, or their bank account, but rather the courage to do what's right even when everything around seems wrong. Final reflection. Lucia walks beside Pedro, holding hands, smiling, now at peace. Lucia, voiceover. "They taught me to be quiet, to bow my head, to not bother the people at the top. But today, I teach my son that no one is better than anyone else, and that the greatest justice is the one that comes from the heart." Question to the viewer. And you, what would you do if you were Dr. Lucia? Would you have forgiven? Would you have judged? Would you have been able to keep a firm heart in the face of so much pain? Final thanks. If you've made it this far, it's because this story has touched your heart. Thank you so much for staying with me until the end. And of course, if you like emotional stories with real twists, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, and click on the next recommended video here on the screen. It will surprise you even more. I'll see you there.